Hello, all you wonderful people. It's Lisa, and just living life with Lisa. And today's going to be a storyteller, and it probably have to be in parts because I don't know if I can tell the whole story in one video. And so, as the house we live in is on the top of a ridge, and if you go back a couple of videos where I just put pictures in and music, you'll get to see the house and the property. I would suggest, for the sake of the story, you go back and look at that one. And you'll see what we're talking about. Anyway, this house came up for sale, and we've been talking for a long time about combining our families, my cousin and I. And we were pretty much really like sisters, so sometimes we refer to each other as our sister to other people. And I just call her husband my brother-in-law because it's too hard to go through all that. But at any rate, we'd been looking for a while. And we lived in the same housing complex addition in the town we moved from to this house. And so we found this house. We'd looked at lots of houses, and there was always something that just didn't feel just right to one of us or the other one. And we would just go on with well, when the right house comes by, we'll find it. So we found this house and immediately fell in love with it. All right. And so what we did is we talked about it and made an offer on the house to the realtor that had it listed. And for the sake of this video, we're going to call him, give him an alias, and we'll go ahead and call him Mark. Anyway, so Mark was the realtor that had it listed, and I called to make an offer. He did not, and making a really short story longer, but this part shorter, he did not give the people that own the house my offer. He did not present it, and tried to tell me that it was already sold. Well, we were able to find out that it was not sold, and in fact was available. And so with that being said, we hired another realtor. And when we hired the other realtor, she called Mark to tell him that she had some people that wanted to look at the house. And he gave her the code, and we came and looked at the house. We already knew we were going to make an offer on it because we had already decided. So we looked at it again, and we made an offer. And she wrote it up. Well, because our names showed up on it, he knew who had made the offer. And from the time she called to okay us looking at the house, to the time we came looking at the house, to the time we made the offer, to the time she turned in the offer, was over the course of about 5 hours. It did not take long. Well, she calls me a little bit later and tells me that there was a problem. She found out that it was in a contract, but it went under contract. It was not under contract when she called about the house, but it was now, and he had put it up there. And I said, no, he's lying to you. And I proceeded to tell her all the stories about what had happened in the course of the week that he and I had dealt. And I sent her receipts, text receipts, showing the conversations, because he is not smart enough to not put it in text messages. And so she had all this ammunition. He ended up getting in a little bit of trouble. He should have been not allowed to, he should have been kicked out of real estate, and definitely should not have been able to make any money off this house. But he did. And he represented the sellers. And there were things that went on. And with respect to the sellers who we love, we keep in contact with them. They don't know everything that went on. that they didn't get offers that they should have gotten, because we're of the belief that Mark wanted the house and was trying to do everything he could to get either himself in here or get a family member in here, and because it's a piece of heaven. There's no other way to describe this area but a piece of heaven. So anyway, time goes on. So we start, we buy the house. And on the, well, let's back up a little bit. So we came to look at the house. And it became apparent to us that the people that lived here were keeping stuff here, but they weren't living here. They had already relocated to where they wanted to live. So they weren't actually living here. And so when we would see their house, they hadn't been in it. Okay. So the first time we came and looked at it, they had stuff hanging on the walls everywhere. There was not a spot left to hang anything on. And going up the stairs, there's pictures and certificates the kids had done and things like that. And so, we looked at them and stuff and thought it was kind of cool and stuff. And we looked at the upstairs, had bedrooms, upstairs, and it's 2-story and whatnot. And so then after we came through after we made the offer and came through to made a second look, the first time we looked at it, the owners knew that we were coming and had left the second time we came. We came out with Mark, and Mark showed it to us, but then would not accept our offer. So then we got the other realtor, came out with her, made the offer, and he didn't know it was us. Then he found out it was us. So then we came out again because we wanted to look at it and show some more of the family members the house. Like I said, it's everybody's house. And so we came in, and there was a bunny trap right inside, like as you walk from the kitchen to the living room. And it had these fake bunnies in it. And I just thought it was weird, and my son pointed out and he goes, "Look at this." And I looked at it and I said, "Well, that's strange." I said, "Is that supposed to be a decoration?" And he said, "I guess." And I said, "Well, it's not a very good one, but to each his own, Thought nothing of it. Seriously thought nothing of it. And so then started to go upstairs, and there was a certificate on there where the person that owns the house would not want me to put on what the certificate said, but at any rate, it was not something the owner of the house put up on the wall. And so, we were kind of like, well, that's weird, why would this stuff be out when it wasn't out before? But nothing scared us, so what, And so then we came out. So they accepted our offer, and we did, in lieu of, we knew we were going to take the house no matter what. So in lieu of an inspection, we had to do one more walkthrough right before closing to make sure that everything was the way we wanted it, and we could back out if we wanted to. So we came over here with no intention of backing out. And everything was back in place. And they put a wonderful welcome sign on the thing, and it had all the phone numbers that we needed to change the gas and the electric and the internet and just everything that you would need to know. They wrote down all the numbers, who used to do the yard, and the pest control company, and just everything. And so, we came in and we walked through the house, and the cage was missing, and the certificates were on the wall again. Not the ones that had been changed, but the ones that were there the first time we looked at it when They didn't know it was us looking at the house. And so we thought, yeah, imagine Mark's been up to something. And because they had 48 hours to come up, the person that supposedly had done the contract had 48 hours to come up with the money, or they lost the house. And he was booking it to find money because we were stalking his Facebook. And so, anyway, 2 hours before the 48 hours were up, he called and said that the people didn't come up with the money. Surprise, surprise. And so we got the house. And so at closing, the people stopped to talk to us, and he darted in. He didn't even want to look at us, and rightfully so. And he was all red in the face and nervous, and people find me intimidating, but I'm nothing compared to when my cousin and I get together. We can be a couple of intimidating women, and so if we want to be. So anyway, he darted in there, and we never gave it any more thought. We really didn't. And so we're over here, and I was over here. We had a combination lock on the back door, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, and we couldn't figure out the rhyme or reason to it. Nothing made any sense as to why sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. So finally we ended up just changing the lock. And so anyway, while this was going on, I came over and was doing some stuff, and I turned around and I left, not knowing, my cousin's name's Lucretia, not knowing that Lucretia and her grandson were coming. And we passed each other on the street, or on the road. And so they got here. Well, when they got here, they actually caught a person in the house. But she didn't let on that she knew the person was in the house because she had a child with her and did not want to scare the child. So she was not scared. They finished what they had to do, and then they left. Well, then we figured out why the lock sometimes worked and sometimes didn't. And so we had them changed. Because we didn't want to have squatters. So we thought, or any vandals. Well, in the meantime, we didn't move out here for a while. And once we got out here, we started having problems with two-legged creatures. And the two-legged creatures were trying to, I guess, scare us out of here. And I actually went out and chased them down, and neighbor this way is 74 years old, lives alone, and they were knocking on her door between 4:30 in the morning. They were coming here like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I went out and threatened them. And when I found out they were doing that to her, same thing. And I told them, I said, I will shoot you. I said, I don't have a problem with, and I said, I will pull you through the threshold. And I said, but if you don't want to get shot, and if Mark's putting you up to this, send Mark out here. Let Mark man up and do this. Don't let him hide behind you. Well, they took off, and we could hear them going through the bushes. So then another time, somebody came out here, and so I called the neighbor, and she came over. Well, she's a retired school teacher too, and she's got as much spunk as anybody out there. And she got out there, and I mean, the two of us were yelling. You would have thought we were Bonnie and Clyde, or Cagney and Lacey is what we call each other, Cagney and Lacey. And we were out there, and they actually went behind our building over here, and we could kind of see the outline of them. Well, they took off, and they went over the hill over here and through the woods, and there's a pack of pit bulls, and we heard the pit bulls going crazy. So we knew where that person had gone. And so after that, the police came back and asked the neighbor if she had any more problems, and she said yes. she had, and that we were having more problems than she was having. And so now we live on this dirt road, 4 houses, and the police come down a couple times a night and shine spotlights in the yard and check the place out. And they go all the way up to her house. She's on a dead end, and they'll check at least twice, if not 3 times a night. They come down. We get more patrol. We get better patrol out here in the middle of nowhere than I've ever had in any city. But something happened tonight. We've been here for months and months and months, and we've chased people off, literally. We saw somebody hiding behind our trash can one night, in fatigues, or camouflage clothes, except we had groceries and I forgot to go back out there and do something about it. So, anyway, something happened tonight, something happened today, and I don't have time to go into it tonight, because it all builds up on this story that I'm telling you now. And there's some more to it, and a little bit more, and we're getting kind of suspicious about some things that have been happening, and something that did happen tonight that just about got somebody hurt, and namely me, but the person on the receiving end thought it was going to be them, I think. But at any rate, live life to the fullest, live life with no regrets. The color is red, and stay tuned for tomorrow, and I'll tell you the rest of the story. Bye-bye.